So yesterday we have started the tolerance groups. Okay. So as a part of it, we have seen the tolerance groups for GL accounts. Now today we will see the tolerance groups for users. Step number 7.2, define tolerance group for employees. So employees means users or the employees in the finance and accounts department. Sorry. So first of all, what is the concept of these tolerance groups for employees? For the employees of the accounting department, we define the upper limits for the posting procedures. Posting procedures means posting activities. With the help of the tolerance groups for employees, we can control the posting activities of the employees in the finance and accounts department. The following are the posting procedures. Here, in every accounts department, right, there will be number of employees, and the lower level employees like junior accountant, junior cashier, accountant, senior accountant. So these are the people, or these are the lower level people in the finance and accounts department. And these lower level people are always concerned with the postings. So the business transactions are always posted by these lower level employees only. So in order to control them, right, in order to control the posting activities, we can use these tolerance groups for employees. How? Let us see. So these are the upper limits for the posting procedures of the employees. What are the posting procedures? See, posting procedures is simply posting activities. See, number one, these are the 4 posting activities. The amount of a document an employee can post into GL accounts, vendor accounts, customer accounts, and asset accounts. The amount of a document means business transaction. The amount of a business transaction an employee can post into GL accounts, vendor accounts, customer accounts, and asset accounts. Means you take any employee. As far as postings are concerned, he has to post the business transactions into general accounts, vendor accounts, customer accounts, and asset accounts. For that activity, we set up the. See, here we can define any number of tolerance groups, right? Then under each tolerance group, we define the upper limits for these 4 posting activities. First one is amount of a document an employee can post into GL accounts, vendor accounts, customer accounts, and asset accounts. For this activity, under group A, for example, we set up a limit of 1 lakh rupees. Under group B, we set up a limit of 2 lakh rupees. Under group C, we set up a limit of 3 lakh rupees. Under group D, 4 lakh rupees. Then, number 2, the amount of the open item he can deal with. Open item means pending purchase invoice and pending sales invoice. They are called open items. On the pending purchase invoice, you make the payment to vendors. On the pending sales invoices, we receive the payment from the customer. So when you make the payment to vendor or when you receive the payment from the customer, that is to be posted by the employee. So for that activity, you set up the upper limit. Like under group A, 1,50,000. Under group B, 2,50,000. Under group C, 3,50,000. Under group D, 5 lakhs. That is the second posting activity. Then the percentage of cash discount he can offer or post. Means sometimes to some of the customers, we may give some credit periods, and also we may give some discounts. These are called payment terms. So when you give the discount to a customer, the discount is to be posted by the employee only. Discount given to the customer is called discount paid. Similarly, sometimes when you make the payment to vendor within the stipulated time, they will give us some cash discount. So discount given by the vendors is called cash discount received. So whether you receive the cash discount or whether you give the cash discount, that is to be posted by the employee only. So up to how much percentage of cash discount they can post. Under group A, 0%. Under group B, 1%. Under group C, 2%. Under group D, 5%. Then the amount of the payment difference he can accept. Means, suppose for example, a customer is there. That customer has to pay 10,000 rupees on a sales invoice. But today, the customer has paid 8,000 rupees, saying that he will pay the remaining 2,000 later on. So this 2,000 is called payment difference. So up to how much payment difference an employee can accept? This is 1,000 under group A, 2,000 under group B, 4,000 under group C, and 5,000 under group D. Like that, you can define any number of tolerance groups. Under each tolerance group, we set up the upper limits for all these 4 posting activities. And the important thing here you have to remember is, these upper limits, as a consultant, you cannot decide on your own. As a consultant, these upper limits, we cannot decide on our own. Always, not only here, everywhere, right? The consultants cannot decide anything on their own. First of all, we have to look into the client company requirements. Based on their requirements only, we have to develop the configuration in the software. So we conduct a lot of meetings with the end users, right? So during the sessions, you get the requirements of this finance and accounts department, and based on their business requirement only, as a functional consultant, we develop the configuration settings. So here, these amount limits is not decided by, these amount limits are not decided by the consultant, right? They will take into consideration from the employees in the finance and accounts department. Based on their requirements, we decide these amount limits. Okay. Now, there are some employees working in the accounts department. For example, under group 1, we have junior accountant, junior cashier, and accountant. Then under group 2, we have accounts officer, senior accounts officer. Then under group 3, we have manager finance and senior manager finance. Then under group 4, GM finance is there and director finance is there. So these are the employees in the finance and accounts department. Means for every employee, the basis consultant will create the user IDs. No? Then the FI consultant, after defining these tolerance groups, based on the client company requirements, we assign the required tolerance groups to the required employee user IDs. For example, group A tolerance group is assigned to group 1 employee user IDs, junior accountant, junior cashier, and accountant. Then group B tolerance group is assigned to group 2 employees, accounts officer and senior accounts officer. Then under the group C tolerance group is assigned to user IDs of group 3 employees. Similarly, group D tolerance group is assigned to group 4 employees. As a result, remember, as far as postings are concerned, so as far as postings are concerned, the upper limits of respective tolerance groups is applicable to respective employees. Means either junior accountant or junior cashier or accountant can post a business transaction in the GL accounts, vendor accounts, customer accounts, and asset accounts up to 1 lakh. Up to 1 lakh. Their allowable limit is only 1 lakh. Suppose today we purchase some material from a vendor and the purchase invoice amount is 1,50,000. This purchase invoice is to be posted in accounts payable, vendor account, right? In that case, these people cannot post because their allowable upper limit is only 1 lakh. Similarly, either junior accountant or junior cashier accountant can post either payment to vendor or payment from customer up to 1,50,000. Up to 1,50,000. Then again, the junior accountant, junior cashier, and accountant cannot post any cash discount paid or any cash discount received because their allowable limit is 0. Means they cannot post any cash discount paid or cash discount received. Then these people cannot accept the payment if the payment difference is more than 1,000 rupees. Like that, the upper limits of group A are applicable to these people, group 1 people. Upper limits of group B are applicable to group 2 people. Upper limits of group C are applicable to group 3 people, and so on. Now let us take one example. I am the junior accountant. I am the junior accountant. So today we have purchased raw material, and invoice amount is 3,75,000. Invoice amount is 3,75,000. Okay. Now, this purchase invoice is to be entered into vendor accounts, right? It comes under first point. Okay. So, as per the tolerance limits, the purchase invoice amount is more than the group C limit and less than group D limit, right? So, this group D is assigned to GM Finance and Director Finance. So, technically speaking, this invoice of 3,75,000 is to be posted by GM Finance and Director Finance. Remember, technically speaking, as per the tolerance groups, this purchase invoice of 3,75,000 is to be posted by either GM Finance or Director Finance. And the GM Finance and Director Finance will do the postings for books of accounts? Never. Whatever may be the amount of the business transaction, always the postings are done by these group 1 employees only. But what is their allowable upper limit? 1 lakh only. So technically, they cannot post the purchase invoice of 3,75,000. But still, it has to be posted by them only. In that case, suppose junior accountant is posting the invoice. Then he has to get the approval either from GM Finance or Director Finance. You have to get the approval either from GM Finance or Director Finance. For that purpose, right, the junior accountant will just enter the invoice into system and he will keep it pending for posting. Then the GM Finance will press one button from his seat. Then that is posted. This process is called parking of the documents. So how to park the document by the junior level employees and how it is authorized or approved by senior level employees, we have the separate topic in the general ledger accounting. So at this point of time, what you have to understand is, using the tolerance limits for employees, using the tolerance groups for employees, we can control the posting activities of the employees. I will give you one live example. Most of you have gone to the bank, right? Today, you wanted to withdraw some 5 lakh rupees, some 500,000 rupees. So you went to the bank and of course, you will take the check to the bank. You write the check, then you go to the cashier. You will hand over the check to the cashier. Then the cashier will enter that withdrawal of 5 lakhs into the system. Then you might have noticed that that cashier will send that check to somebody else in the bank and ask him authorize. Right? Then that other person will log into the system. From there, he will do something. Then that check is again returned to the cashier. Then only the cashier will give you 5 lakh rupees. What is happening here? The cashier does not have the authorization to post withdrawal of 5 lakh rupees to the customer. So his limit is only maybe up to 2,50,000 only. But the amount of the check is 5 lakhs. So he doesn't have the authorization to enter the withdrawal of 5 lakh by the customer. So accounts officer may have the authorization. That's why that cashier is sending that check to the accounts officer to authorize it. Of course, banks are also using ERPs, maybe different ERP. If we see, tolerance rules for employees is the inherent feature of every ERP, not only SAP. Right? So all this explanation I have given here. Based on the requirements of the accounts department, the FI consultant will define the number of tolerance groups with the upper limits for the above posting procedures. The required tolerance group is assigned to the users. As a result, the upper limits are applicable to the user for postings. When the user has to post a document, whose amount is more than his allowable upper limit. He has to get the approval from the respective employee. For this purpose, keeps the document pending for posting. This is called parked document. So what is parked document? How it is parked and how it is released? We will discuss in the general ledger accounting. Now we will see the path. We will see how to do it in the system. Path is same as above. So first let us log into the system. Path is same as above means for the previous step, starting with SPRO, means it is the consultant activity only. Path is same as above. That means SPRO, financial accounting or financial accounting. You can use any path, any of these two folders. General ledger accounting, business transactions, open item clearing, clearing differences, define tolerance groups for employees, transaction code OBF4. Yeah, transaction code also I have given already. Then click on new entries. Click on new entries. Don't write now. First look at the scheme. Suppose I want to define the tolerance groups as per our example. Okay. Then group is equal to A. You can give up to 4 characters. Company code SSPM. Look at the scheme. Upper limits for posting procedures. Upper limits for posting procedures. The amount per document 1 lakh rupees. Then the amount per open item account item 1,50,000. Then cash discount per line item 0%. Then permitted payment differences, revenue 500, expense 500. Click on save. Then I want to define tolerance group B, right? Click on next entry button. This is called next entry button. Then you enter group B company code and you enter the respective upper limits. Then click on save. Again click on next entry button. Enter the details. Like that, you can go on defining any number of tolerance groups, right? Now you write in the material. Group is equal to blank. Means keep that field blank. Group is equal to blank. Company code SSPM. Then amount per document, you enter some 9 nines or 10 nines. I will tell you why. You enter some 8 nines or 9 nines. Maximum amount you enter. I will tell you why. Then amount per open account item. Again, you enter some maximum 10 or 9 nines. Then cash discount per line item 5%. Cash discount per line item 5%. After that, again, please write down. You please add under permitted payment differences. Under permitted payment differences, revenue is equal to 1,000. Revenue is equal to 1,000. Expense is equal to 1,000. Expense is equal to 1,000. So this is called blank tolerance group. So in addition to normal tolerance groups, we also define one blank tolerance group with the maximum limits. Click on save. Here, why I have given this much amount, right? Because this blank tolerance group, we are going to assign to our user IDs in the next step. So you have to do the practice, right? So in the general ledger accounting, accounts payable, accounts asset accounting, you have to post the business transactions, right? So in those business transactions, you have to enter the amounts. So you have to enter the amounts. So when you assign the blank tolerance group to your user ID, right? What is the upper limits here? This much amount. So while doing the practice, you can fill up the amount columns up to this much maximum amount. Otherwise, what happens? Every time you have to remember your upper limits. It is not necessary for us. So when you assign this blank tolerance group to euros ready, while posting the transactions in the amount columns, you can fill up to these amounts. That's the convenience, right? That's why I define one blank tolerance group, right? With the maximum limits. Right down there. The upper limits of the blank tolerance group, please write down again there. The upper limits of the blank tolerance group are applicable to the users, who are not assigned with any tolerance groups. Suppose managing director is there. He's a very high level authority in the company, right? So normally we don't assign the tolerance group to his user ID. Then these limits are applicable. I hope it's clear for everybody. Then step number 7.3, assign users to tolerance groups. Path is same as above, or transaction code OB57. You can go back. See, assign users to tolerance groups. Click on new entries. User ID is equal. I give the user ID to every one of you, right? So write your user ID only. So in this particular server, my user ID is Lakshman. So I am entering my user ID. Username is equal to enter your usernames. I have given you the user IDs to every one of you. So you enter those user IDs. Username is equal to your user ID. Then tolerance group blank. So when you keep this field blank, right? We defined one tolerance group of blank. No, the values of that blank tolerance group is applicable to the user Lakshman while posting the transactions. Click on save. This is called error message. See, an entry already exists with the same key. Because here in this particular server, my user ID is always Lakshman, right? So already I assigned the blank tolerance group for the previous batches. That's the reason why you are getting one error message. An entry already exists the same key. Similarly, while doing the practice in the second company code, you may get this error. In the first company code, you don't get any error, right? I told you for the practice purpose, I told you to create two company codes, right? And everyday settings, you do it in the two company codes. Do one thing. Here, some space is there, no? Please write down. Note. For assign users to tolerance groups, we get the error message. In the second company code or subsequent company codes. In that case, leave this step for that company code. Okay. Now, last topic in the basic settings is global parameters. In this activity, we can define various global specifications for the company code. We can also display all the objects defined and assigned to company code in the overview screen. Till now, we have defined fiscal year variant and assigned to company code. We defined the posting period variant and assigned to company code. Then we defined field status variant and assigned to company code, right? And also we assigned a company to company code. So all these assignments we can display in this global parameter screen. First, let us do the step. Again, while doing the step, I will explain. SPRO means it is also the consultant job. Flash and SPRO. Financial accounting. Financial accounting global settings. Company code. Enter global parameters. Click on position. See the material. Every step is clearly there. Click on position. Company code is equal to SSPN. Company code is equal to SSPN. Click on enter. See, our company code is there in the first line. Select the company code SSPN. Select SSPN company code line. Click on details button. Click on details button. Good question. See, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you this point. I should have told you before itself. Pavani has posted one question. In which currency we need to set the tolerance limit? Local currency or document currency? Good point. Actually, I had to tell you. I'm sorry for that. I did not. I forgot to tell you this point. Go to the step number 7.2. Write down the point there. Note. Note. The upper limits are tolerance groups. The upper limits are tolerance groups. For GL accounts and the employees are always defined in company code local currency. Are always defined in company code local currency only. So when you post a foreign currency business transaction, what happens and how the system behaves, I will explain you at the time of foreign currency postings in the general ledger account. Clear, Pavani? Pavani, is it clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Now coming to the current step, global parameters. So click on position, company code SSPN, click on enter, select SSPN company code line, click on details button. This is called details button. See, our company code is SSPN, country IN, currency INR, language English. These are the parameters we have maintained while defining the company code, right? Then we have assigned the chart of accounts, SSPN, to our company code. And we have assigned our company code to the group SSPN GR. And don't use the country specific chart of accounts for the time being. Fiscal year variant is V3. We have assigned the fiscal year V3 to our company code. Then we assign the field status variant to our company code. We assign the posting body variant to the company code. So till now, we have assigned all these objects to our company code, right? In addition to that, according to our material, see the material. Select business area financial statements. Then select proposed fiscal year. Then select define default value date. Then select negative postings permitted. This one. So normally, right, for every company code, normally we select these 4 checkboxes. Then other checkboxes we select on the basis of the client company requirement. Click on save. Now, what is the impact of selecting these checkboxes? Go back to notes, please. Go back to notes, please. Put heading business area financial statements. Business area financial statements. By selecting this checkbox, By selecting this checkbox, the system will display the business area field. The system will display the business area field as ready for input, to enter the business area. For each account at the time of posting the business transactions, so that the user can draw the financial statements for each business area. This setting prevails irrespective of the settings done in the field status group assigned in the GL account. See, simply saying, right, at the time of posting the business transactions, the system will display this business area field. Then the user enters the business area. Then that business transaction is identified with the respect to business areas. As a result, we can draw the business area financial statements. That's it. That is the summary of the setting. Next, number 2. Put heading, proposed fiscal year. By selecting this checkbox, the system automatically defaults the current fiscal year. At the time of displaying the documents. Its impact I will show you, right, at the time of general ledger accounting. So every day the user enters the business transactions into system. So accounting entries are posted. After that, if you want to display accounting entries, you need to enter some selection parameters. In those selection parameters, the system automatically defaults the current fiscal year. You need not enter the fiscal year. System automatically defaults. Next, number 3. Define default value date. Put heading, define default value date. Define default value date. By selecting this checkbox, the system automatically defaults. The current date within brackets system date within brackets system date as value date at the time of posting the business transactions. If necessary, If necessary, the user can change it. If necessary, the user can change it. This I will clearly explain you at the time of posting the transactions. Next heading, negative postings permitted. Negative postings permitted. By selecting this checkbox, we can use the reversal function. We can use the reversal function to rectify error documents. When the error document is reversed, the system will keep the totals of the account. The system will keep the totals of the account unchanged. The system will keep the totals of the account unchanged by posting the rectification. On the same side with the negative sign. By posting the rectification on the same side with the negative sign, instead of posting it on opposite side. What does it mean? So this is the rent account. Is the okay, so every month the rent is 10,000. Okay, so on 1st April 2022, we have paid and posted rent. To bank 10,000. Then on 1st May 2022, we have paid and posted to bank rent to 10,000. Then again on 1/6/2022, we have paid rent and posted to bank 10,000. Right? Then again on 1/6/2022, what happens is you have paid salaries of 50,000. So actually, what should the journal entry? Debit salaries account, credit bank account, right? But by mistake, the user has debited rent account. Instead of posting the salaries account to bank, the user has posted rent account to bank, and the salaries is 50,000. Because of the wrong document, because of the wrong entry, right? Your salaries account again was debited. Sorry, your rent account was again debited with 50,000. Right? Then in SAP, if you post any wrong entries, you cannot delete them and you cannot edit it. You cannot edit it or you cannot delete them. Only the way is reversal. You can only reversal. So when you post this wrong document, you have the two types of reversals, right? I mean, you can two types of the rectifications. You can post one wrong in. You can post the rectification entry, right? Let us take another example. See, actually, salaries were paid 50,000, right? By mistake, entry posted is rent account debtor 50,000 to bank. 50,000. In that case, there are two ways to rectify the above wrong entry, right? Number one, rectification entry. Number one, rectification entry. What is the rectification entry? Salaries account debtor $50,000 to rent account. 50,000. So here, when you create a salary rent account, then that is posted to credit side of rent account 50,000. So debit rent account 50,000, credit rent account 50,000. So the effect of the wrong document is nullified, right? That is one way. Then another way, the second way. Till now clear? Second way of rectification is first we reverse the wrong entry and again post correct entry. Like what? First we reverse the wrong entry. What is the wrong entry we have posted? Rent account debtor to bank, right? Then it is reversed. Like bank account debtor 50,000 to rent account 50,000. Then you post correct entry. Correct entry is what? Salaries account debtor 50,000, right? To bank account 50,000, right? Now, here, when you follow the second way, means when the document is reversed, right? So, in order to rectify this wrong document, we have reversed this document, right? On the same day. On the same day. On 1/6/2022, we have reversed the wrong document. What is the reversal? Bank account debtor to rent. So by virtue of that entry, that is posted to credit side by bank 50,000. Okay. I hope it's clear for everybody till now. Now, for the remaining months, the postings are correct. For the remaining months, the postings are correct. Let us discuss that, Lakshmanarayana. We can do the rectification in any month, but whether it is to be posted in the previous month or current month, we will discuss later on. Now, so like that, for the remaining months, the postings are correct, right? Now you are on 31st March 2023. So we are preparing financial statements. Then what we do? You balance every expense account, revenue account, and they will be transferred to P&L account, right? So as a part of that, we are balancing rent account. So what will be the total of the rent account? In this case, what will be the total on the debit side of the rent account?
1,20,000.
No. See, 12-month business. 12
Plus
is
50,000.
1,20,000 and one wrong posting, right? Yes or no, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes only, right? So 1,70,000 is the total. So the total debit side is 1,70,000. Now, on credit side, on 31st March 2023, by balance to P&L account. $1,20,000. So there won't be any impact on the balance of rent to transfer to P&L account. So there won't be any impact on the amount of the rent to balance transferred to P&L account. But what is happening here? The totals are distracted. So if anybody looks at your rent account and if they know that the rent amount is every month 10,000, they can easily understand that your accounting people have done some mistakes. Still not clear? That's why when you select the negative postings permitted, the system will keep the totals of the account unchanged. The system will keep the totals of the account unchanged by posting the rectification on the same side with the negative sign. The system keeps the totals of the account unchanged by posting the rectification on the same side with the negative sign instead of posting it on opposite side. Now you total this account. 1,20,000 only. That's what I told you. The impact of negative postings permitted is when the error document is reversed, the system will keep the totals of the account unchanged by posting the rectification on the same side with the negative sign instead of posting it on opposite side. That is the impact of negative postings permitted. Clear? Now, these are the 4 check boxes that are selected for every company code. Other things. What about other things? What about other check boxes? Bank account is also nullified, no? We are reversing the document, Praveen. Praveen, or sorry, 1 second. Yeah, Praveen.
Yeah, please.
First, we have created the bank account. Again, the reversal, it is debited, no? So there is an impact on the bank balance.
Well, I'm asking is why I'm reconciliation with the bank
So
statement.
reconciliation will not do for every transaction. Reconciliation done on the basis of your bank statement,
That is what
not
I'm
on the basis of your account statement of bank.
Okay.
The reconciliation is done on the basis of the bank statement issued by the bank.
Yes, of course.
Always we reconcile our bank account in our books of accounts with our account in the bank books. Get my point? So bank statement is the criteria, but here the error is happening in our books of accounts. So we are rectifying that error.
Okay.
Yes, we can. Navya is asking one question. Can we change the assigned tolerance group at any point? Yes, we can change the tolerance groups at any point, either in the GL accounts or for the users. So tomorrow we start the general ledger accounting, and along with today's recording, I will send you the complete FI material. This material contains 227 pages, right? So take the printout of this material and get it spiral bound. After that, till now we have done some settings now in the basic settings. All these settings copy from the old material to new material. In the new material also, you have the same steps, right? The material which I gave you for 28 pages is only temporary material, right? So you copy the settings from the old material to this new material, and you can discard your old material now. So very, very important, right? Keep this mail in your folders, right? Suppose if you take the physical printout and that material is damaged, again you can take the printout. So create one folder in your mail and you transfer all the FICO materials mails to that folder. I'll be sending you this as an attachment to your emails. Any questions from anybody? First, raise your hands. I'll be coming one by one. And again, we have the class on Monday. Indian Day Monday and USA Day Sunday.
Thank you.
Okay, then. See you on Monday. Good night and good day.
Thank you.
A happy weekend, everybody.
Thank you.